What if I told you there was once a woman who discovered a code so powerful she never lost again? A housewife from Texas named Helene Hadsell. For 50 years straight, she won every contest she touched, over 5,000 wins. Cars, cash, dream vacations, even a luxury home worth $50,000 back in the 1960s. Imagine this, a contest with over 1.5 million entries and only one winner. Helene knew the prize was already hers. The day before the announcement, she told her neighbor, "Tomorrow they'll call me to tell me I've won the house." Her neighbor laughed, thinking she was crazy. But at exactly 2 p.m., the phone rang. Contest officials confirmed her win. Helene picked up calmly and said, "I've been expecting your call." Now think about what that means. She didn't hope. She didn't cross her fingers. She didn't pray it might happen. She lived in certainty, and that certainty pulled the prize into her life. Helene wasn't psychic. She wasn't lucky. She wasn't guessing. She had cracked a formula so exact that once you understand it, you'll realize why most people fail to win. And in this video, I'm going to reveal that formula. But I'll also tell you why many of you watching will still miss out, unless you stay until the end and hear the missing piece. She called her method the SPEC formula. 4 steps that turned her into a legend: select, project, expect, collect. The first step is select it. And this is where most people fail before they even start. They say vague things like, "I want more money," or "I want a better life." That's like going to a restaurant and saying, "Bring me something edible." You might get anything, and most likely not what you actually desire. Helene was different. She didn't say, "I want a car." She said, "I will win the red 1965 Ford Mustang convertible from the KDVU radio station contest." Do you see the difference? She was specific, focused. When she wanted a house, she didn't just imagine a nice home. She selected the exact one being given away, the 4,300 square foot luxury house in Irving, Texas. She memorized the layout. She studied the kitchen photos. She already knew what the curtains would look like. To her, selection wasn't a wish, it was a decision. And that decision carried energy, because once you truly select something, you cut away everything else. You stop entertaining the alternatives. Your energy is no longer scattered. It becomes a laser beam, and a laser beam can cut through anything. But Helene didn't stop there. After selecting, she moved into the second step. Project it. Daydreaming is not projection. Helene projected with such depth that her mind couldn't tell the difference between vision and reality. When she projected herself driving the Mustang, she felt the leather steering wheel against her hands. She smelled the new car scent. She heard the roar of the engine as she turned the key. She didn't just see the car, she lived in it. When she projected the dream house, she walked through the hallways in her mind. She placed her children's toys in the bedrooms. She cooked meals in the kitchen and heard the clatter of dishes on the table. She wasn't visualizing, she was experiencing. Projection is immersion. And she did it so vividly that when she opened her eyes after 20 minutes, she felt dizzy, as if she had just come back from another world. Then came the third step. Expect it. Expectation was her crown jewel. She once explained it perfectly. When you order something from a catalog, you don't sit around doubting. You don't say, "I hope it shows up." You simply wonder when. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. but you never doubt that it's on its way. That's exactly how she treated her contests. Not if I win, always when I win. She used to repeat one phrase again and again. I wonder how long it will take them to notify me. That's not hope. That's certainty. And when you carry certainty, the universe rearranges itself to match your expectation. Finally, the last step. Collect it. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They want a prize, but they aren't prepared to receive it. They say they want a car, but their garage is full of junk. They say they want wealth, but they keep telling themselves stories of lack. Helene never made that mistake. Before she won cars, she cleaned her garage. Before she won trips, she researched the schools in those cities. Before she won her dream house, she prepared herself mentally for the life inside it. She lived as if the collection had already happened, and when you do that, the universe has no choice but to deliver. Her very first win came from a Coca-Cola contest. She didn't even drink Coke, but her husband Pat pointed out an ad. Write 25 words about why you take Coke on outings and win an outboard motor. Most people would scribble and hope, Helene projected. She saw Pat in the boat laughing, kids in the sun, water sparkling around them. Then she told him, I wonder how long it'll take them to notify us that we won. Of course they won. That outboard motor was the first step into her destiny. From there, the wins cascaded. Toys and bicycles for her children, appliances for her kitchen, refrigerators, washers, new furniture, vacations, cars, one prize after another. Neighbors whispered. Newspapers wrote about her. But Helene smiled. She knew she wasn't cheating the system. She was playing by a law higher than the system. And then came the ultimate prize, the World's Fair Dream House. In 1964, Formica announced a contest. Win a $50,000 replica of the World's Fair model home, built anywhere in the U.S., over 1.5 million people entered. One winner would be chosen. Helene studied every photo of that house. She memorized the floor plan. She walked through its 4,300 square feet in her mind every night. She cooked meals there. She heard her children laughing in the yard. She didn't imagine. She lived it. And when the officials called, she wasn't surprised. She answered the phone and said the words that defined her life. I've been expecting your call. That was Helene. That was spec. And here's what matters most. Well, spec is not just her method. It is a universal law, a pattern of energy available to every person alive. The universe responds not to luck, not to chance, but to certainty aligned with preparation. And here is the truth. Most people who heard her speak never got her results. Not because spec doesn't work, but because of one thing. Doubt. Doubt is poison. Doubt destroys energy. Helene said it clearly. There is no failure, only delay. The only way to fail is to cancel your own certainty. So tonight, your challenge is this. Choose one thing, select it, project it with all your senses alive, expect it like it's already on the way, and prepare to collect it. But don't just keep it inside. Right now, prove your alignment. Comment below, I'm aligned. That's not just a comment. That's a declaration. That's you proving to yourself and to the universe that you are ready. Share this video with a friend who's ready to win too. Because when you spread this energy, you multiply it. And when one person wins, the ripple flows to others. And when your prize arrives, when the phone call comes, when the money shows up, I want you to return here and write, it showed up. That single declaration will ignite belief in thousands of others. Helene Hadsell proved it again and again. She won cars, vacations, appliances, and houses. She lived a life of abundance, not because she was different, but because she lived by law. And now the spec formula, select, project, expect, collect, is in your hands. Helene's story is not here to entertain you. It's here to awaken you. Helene won it all. Not through luck, through law. And the law is waiting for you now. So ask yourself, will you live it or just listen to it? Because the next person who says, I've been expecting your call, could be you.